With reference to the light water reactors, consider the following statements. These reactors use ordinary water H2O as both the reactor coolant and the moderator. Unlike pressurized heavy water reactors, light water reactors are fueled by natural uranium. Light water reactors currently account for more than 80% of the civil nuclear reactor capacity in the world. Which of the following given above are correct? Light water reactors are power reactors that are coolant and moderated with ordinary water. Statement 1 is correct. The distinguishing feature of a light water reactor with respect to other types of reactor is that ordinary water H2O, referred to as light water, is used as both the reactor coolant and the neutron moderator. This dual function of ordinary water gives light water reactors a simpler design engineering compared to heavy water reactors. Light water means ordinary H2O and is different from heavy water that contains deuterium. Statement 2 is incorrect. Light water reactors require enriched uranium, specifically low enriched uranium, as fuel to support the chain reaction. This is in direct contrast to pressurized heavy water reactors, which have the ability to operate on natural uranium. This fuel flexibility of pressurized heavy water reactors is an advantage in resource-constrained contexts like India. Statement 3 is correct. Light water reactors are the most popular among all types of nuclear reactors in the world, accounting for over 85% of global nuclear reactor capacity. They form the mainstay of the global nuclear program owing to their use of light water, simpler design, lower construction costs, economics of scale, and higher thermal efficiency. Knowledge base. Light water reactors have two major variants, the pressurized water reactor and the boiling water reactor. The other reactor types in use include the pressurized heavy water reactor, fast breeder reactor, gas-cooled graphite moderator reactors, high-temperature gas coolant reactors, and the light water cooled graphite moderator RBMK type Russian reactor. In the context of space, the Hubble tension refers to the difference in the speed of light observed across different regions of the universe, the difference between the expansion rate of the universe measured using two different methods, the difference in the distribution of dark matter across galaxy clusters, the difference in the brightness of stars due to atmospheric distortion on Earth. The Hubble tension takes its name from Edwin Hubble, the famous American astronomer who in 1929 presented the first observational evidence that the universe is expanding in all directions. He proposed the Hubble constant to express the rate of the expansion of the universe. The Hubble tension, also sometimes referred to as the Hubble crisis, refers to the difference between the universe expansion rate as measured in the nearby most recent universe and that predicted from observations of the early universe. One can measure the rate of expansion in two ways. In the first method, astronomers use the cosmic distance ladder. They observe nearby objects like pulsating stars and exploding supernova to calculate how fast they are moving away from the Earth. These measurements are said to be local and they point to an expansion rate of around 73 km per second per mega per sec. For the other method, scientists study the cosmic microwave background, which is the light left over from the Big Bang, using mathematical models to project that ancient data into the present day. They have predicted a slower expansion rate of about 67 km per second per mega per sec. The gap between these numbers is the tension. Both methods are highly precise, yet their results don't match. The discrepancy suggests that physicists' current understanding of the universe might be incomplete. Consider the following statements with reference to white phosphorus. The production and use of white phosphorus is completely prohibited under the Convention on the Prohibition of the Development, Production, Stockpiling, and Use of Chemical Weapons and on their destruction. The Chemical Weapons Convention. Statement 2. The smoke from burning white phosphorus is harmful to the eyes and respiratory tract due to the presence of phosphoric acids and profile. Which one of the following is correct in respect of the above statement? Statement 1 is not correct, but statement 2 is correct. White phosphorus is a phosphoric that ignites when exposed to oxygen, producing thick light smoke as well as intense 850 degrees Celsius heat. It ignites spontaneously in air at temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius and continues to burn until it is fully oxidized or until deprived of oxygen. Statement 1 is incorrect. White phosphorus is not explicitly banned by the Convention on the Prohibition of Development, Production, Stockpiling and Use of Chemical Weapons and on their destruction, the Chemical Weapons Convention or CWC, as it is primarily treated as an incendiary substance rather than a chemical agent that kills through toxic action. Its use in polluted civilian areas is restricted under Protocol 3 of the CWC and may constitute a crime war. It is regulated, not prohibited, under international humanitarian law and governs by rules on incendiary weapons. The CWC defines a toxic chemical as any chemical which, through its chemical action on life processes, can cause death, temporary incapacitation, or permanent harm to humans or animals. White phosphorus produces an incendiary response to oxygen, not to life processes, and is consequently not covered under this definition. Statement 2 is correct. White phosphorus is a highly toxic, waxy solid that ignites intensely upon contact with air, releasing a dense white smoke. The smoke from burning phosphorus is harmful to the eyes and respiratory tracts as phosphorus oxides dissolve in moisture to form phosphoric acids. If absorbed into the bloodstream through injection or dermal or mucosal exposure, it can cause severe systemic effects including cardiovascular collapse, renal and hepatic damage, and depressed consciousness. In severe cases, death may occur from shock, hepatic or renal failure, or central nervous system damage. Consider the following statements in respect of LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, and LNG, liquefied natural gas. LPG primarily comprises propane and butane, while LNG primarily consists of methane. Unlike LPG, LNG must be stored in cryogenic tanks and requires better handling to prevent vaporization or boil off. Piped natural gas (PNG), which is a direct use of LNG, is heavier than air, and in case of leakage, it is a lot more prone to fires and explosions compared to LPG. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only are correct. While both LPG and LNG are hydrocarbon gases turned into the liquid state, they differ in their chemistry, production, processes, transportation, and delivery. LPG is a gaseous fuel mix primarily comprising propane and butane. Statement 1 is correct. LPG is a gaseous fuel mix primarily comprising propane and butane produced as a byproduct of crude oil refining and natural gas processing. It may also contain some propylene, butylene, and isobutylene. LPG's volume is around 1 by 260th of its gaseous volume. LNG, on the other hand, is primarily natural gas, mainly methane, cooled to below minus 160 degrees Celsius and cryogenically turned into a liquid. In its liquid state, LNG occupies roughly 1 by 600th the volume of natural gas in its gaseous form, making it viable for transport and storage over long distances. Statement 2 is correct. LPG becomes liquid under moderate pressure or at relatively low pressures, making its storage and handling comparatively simpler. LNG, however, becomes liquid only after cryogenic cooling to below minus 160 degrees Celsius, a process that is energy intensive and requires specialized infrastructure to prevent vaporization or boil off during storage and transportation. Unlike LPG, LNG must be stored in cryogenic tanks and requires trained handling to prevent vaporization or boil off. In its liquid state, LNG occupies roughly 1 by 600th the volume of natural gas in its gaseous form, making it viable for transport and storage over long distances. The problem, though, is that it has to be done cryogenically and is energy intensive. Statement 3 is incorrect. LPG is stored in pressurized cylinders and transported mainly by road, making it accessible for domestic and small-scale commercial use. LNG, by contrast, must be stored in specialized cryogenic tanks and transported by special cryogenic ships to regasification terminals where it is mostly converted back to natural gas before being used. LNG is transported in specialized cryogenic ships and lands at LNG regasification terminals where it is converted back into natural gas and then transported further, mostly using piped networks. The natural gas is sent to the end user, usually through pipelines, sold as PNG to households and industries, and CNG or automobile fuel sold through dispensing station. PNG is also considered safer than LPG. This is because natural gas is lighter than air, which allows it to disperse quickly in case of a leak. LPG is heavier than air and therefore tends to sink and accumulate in the air in case of leakage, which makes it a lot more prone to fires or explosions in such instances. Consider the following pairs with reference to traditional medicine system. Medicine system origin presently located in Unani, Greece; homeopathy, Germany; Suva Rigpa, Egypt; Siddha, Iran. So with only one pair is correct. Two pairs are correct. The World Health Organization describes traditional medicine as the sum total of the knowledge, skills, and practices indigenous and different cultures have used over time to maintain health and prevent, diagnose, and treat physical and mental illness. The World Health Organization (WHO) describes traditional medicine as the sum total of the knowledge, skills, and practices indigenous and different cultures have used over time to maintain health and prevent, diagnose, and treat physical and mental illness. Pair 1 is correct. The Unani system of medicine owes its immediate origin to ancient Greece, Yunnan. The fundamental framework of this system is based on the Hippocratic theory of four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, according to which any disturbance in the equilibrium of humors causes disease. In India, the Unani system of medicine came through Arab and Iranian channels. The Unani system of medicine originated in Greece. It belongs to a place called Ionia, which is in Greece. The Arabs call the Ionia as Yunnan. Hence, the system named after its place of origin, its Ionian medicine as Unani medicine. Homeopathy is of European origin. Pair 2 is also correct. Homeopathy is of European origin and dates to the end of the 18th century, specifically to the work of German physician Samuel Hahnemann, who formalized the system in 1796. Homeopathic medicines are prepared from natural sources such as plants, minerals, and animals substances through dilution and succussion. Its key feature is an individualized approach where treatment is based on patient's overall physical and mental condition rather than just the disease. Path 3 is incorrect. While Sova Rigpa is one of the oldest surviving and well-documented medical traditions of the world, with a history of more than 2,500 years, its origin is a matter of scholarly debate. Some scholars believe it originated from India, some say China, and others consider it to have originated from Tibet itself, and not just from Egypt. And not from Egypt. In India, it is popularly known as Amchi and popularly practiced in Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, and Darjeeling. Siddha is a traditional Indian system of medicine rooted in the teachings of ancient seers known as Siddhas. The ancient sages, known for their deep intellect and spiritual insights, the term Siddha originates from the Tamil word Siddhi, signifying complete knowledge or accomplishment. This system encompasses four key areas, namely Vadam, alchemy, conversion of base or noble things; Vaidyam, practice of medicine; Yogam, integration of mind, body, and soul through eightfold practices known as Attaha Yogam; and Jnanam, wisdom or enlightenment. Diagnosis involves a key checklist of 8 signs